We welcome you to the 62nd annual Toyota Gator Bowl from Alltel Stadium in Jacksonville. Third meeting ever between West Virginia out of the Big East and Georgia Tech from the Atlantic Coast Conference. Skies overhead, but we anticipate a heck of a ball game, and Happy New Year from all of us, everybody. Vern Lundquist, Gary Danielson, and Tracy Wolfson. West Virginia comes in with the second best running back, running a tandem in all of college football, but a big question mark. Steve Slayton, injured thigh bruise. Can he go? Well, for more on that, let's go down to Tracy Wolfson.
That's right, Vern. Steve Slayton has been dealing with a deep thigh bruise that he sustained earlier in the season and re-injured again last week in practice. This week, he spent more time in the training room than he did on the football field. He will play, but the key will be how he stays loose during the 45 minutes in the locker room before kickoff. I had a chance to speak with head trainer Dave Kearns, and I asked him how effective he thought Steve Slayton would be, and he said, I'd be surprised if he made it through the whole game, guys.
All right, Trace and Gary, how does that affect?
Oh, that's a huge story. I mean, this spread offense, it is dynamic, but West Virginia likes to run the ball. And to run the ball from the spread, you have to have both your backs. In this instance, your quarterback and your running back must be a weapon. Slayton being nicked will hurt Patrick White. Now, Patrick White is a wonderful athlete. He's not known as a passer, but if Georgia Tech and John Tenuta, their defensive coordinator, can zero in on just one guy, I don't think Patrick White has the experience throwing the ball to really attack Georgia Tech. It's a huge story. I watched Slayton closely in warm-ups. He seemed okay, but the thing is, can he go the whole game?
He is joining his team as they take the field. The Mountaineers from Morgantown. Head coach Rich Rodriguez. They come in with a 10-2 record. Losses to Louisville and South Florida. And here comes Georgia Tech. Now let's talk about this Georgia Tech team. Of course, the big story there, Reggie Ball's academic suspension.
Yeah. Well, that's a tough one. I mean, I really hate to see this. The guy started 49 games, struggled a little bit, obviously, the last couple games, but he's also beaten Florida State, Miami. He's done a lot of good things in his career, and you can't really replace that experience at quarterback. Now, Taylor Bennett is going to play quarterback for Georgia Tech. He doesn't have a lot of snaps, not a lot of experience. He's been in the system, though, for 3 springs and 3 full camps, so he should know what he's doing. He has a safety net, though, and it's a good safety net to have, because if he's going to throw it up, he's got the best football player in college football in my mind, maybe for the last 3 years, Calvin Johnson. Goes about 6'6". He erases a lot of bad throws with his reach and his jumping ability, and believe me, Georgia Tech must have that weapon to score enough points against these guys.
You know, I find it interesting on the left, Rich Rodriguez, and on the right, Chan Gailey.
Yeah.
They are separated by only 9 years, but philosophically a greater contrast.
Yeah, you wouldn't think that meeting them. You know, it is kind of old school, new school, and I'm not really judging here. I mean, there's the I formation, play action pass, throw the comeback and square in that Chan Gailey does at Georgia Tech works, and Rich Rodriguez has done it a different way, but there will be a contrast in this game.
Rich Rodriguez, the head coach, moments ago addressed his Mountaineers.
Man, listen, it's a great atmosphere. Have some fun. How many people want to be in your shoes right now? We got a bunch of guys going to be flying around, chest pumping, getting after them, having fun playing West Virginia football. And you seniors, you 25 seniors, this is your last dance. Let's dance as hard as we can. And we'll show the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets when you play the Mountaineers, you lift your shoes up a little higher, a little more careful, a little more in your head. How many birds you want? Let's go, baby.
CBS Sports presentation of the Toyota Gator Bowl is sponsored by Toyota, moving forward. The Home Depot. You can do it. We can help. And by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. These two teams meet for the third time ever, the 62nd annual Toyota Gator Bowl. And this game brought to you in high-definition television on CBS. 71 degrees, winds out of the southwest at 10 to 15. Last night, as New Year's dawned, they said 80% chance of rain, a little better forecast than that. Georgia Tech leads the all-time series. They played in the Sugar Bowl and the Car Quest Bowl.
Was that Joe Hamilton, Mark Bolger?
Yes, it was.
Wow, that was a good football game.
Ooh, very good memory.
Wow.
Very good. You got the notes on 54?
No. That's your
I do. Here's the kick. West Virginia won the toss. They deferred, and Pat McAfee puts it through the end zone. So a touchback, and Georgia Tech's Taylor Bennett will take the field for the second start of his career. The lineup's presented by Applebee's. The sophomore Bennett out of St. Louis started last year against UConn through his first pass of his career for a touchdown. Up front, Gardner, Rhodes, Tumanello, McManus, and Rotto. Calvin Johnson, the all-everything. Tashard Choice is the running back. The fullback, Mike Cox. Matthews and Johnson. James Johnson is the other wide receiver. Split to the left. And they'll hand it off to Tashard Choice up the middle. And a big gain for Georgia Tech on first down and 10.
You know, it's interesting. Sometimes when you have these long layoffs, you just get sick of hearing about the other guys and how good they run the ball. And Georgia Tech has heard about this great West Virginia running attack. And Tashard Choice says, you know, I led the ACC in rushing. We got a pretty good conference, and our guys can block too. And that was a nice opening play. 18
yards. He's going after his 7th consecutive 100-yard game and is averaging over 100 for the season. First down and 10. It'll be Choice going left. And he moves it out near the 45-yard line. Nice pickup on first down again. Defensively for West Virginia. And let's check up front. It's Young, Pleebig, and Keelan Dykes. The linebackers, Boo McClee, Jay Henry, and Bobby Hathaway. And they'll go with 5 defensive backs: Rivers, Andrews, John Holmes, Eric Wicks, and Antonio Lewis. 2nd and 3. Split backs now. Cox is lined up tight to the right, the fullback. Here's Taylor Bennett being chased, caught, and dropped. Keelan Dykes, 3rd sack of the season.
And that's exactly what Taylor Bennett told us he didn't want to do. He said, listen, I'm not a runner. I know I'm not a runner. I have to stay in the pocket, and if it's not there, just chuck it out of bounds. So what happens? First pass, not a lot of experience, decent protection. Yeah, his tackle got run over a bit, but if Taylor would have snuck up in the pocket, he could have avoided a loss. And now 3rd and 15 is going to be very difficult against his experienced defense from West Virginia.
Calvin Johnson goes wide to the left. They give him plenty of space. There are 3 wideouts now. Chris Dunlap is the 3rd, along with James Johnson. West Virginia brings 4. They hand it off to Choice. Gets a good block from his fullback, or rather his tight end. But he's only back to the 40-yard line. It will be 4th down. Quentin Andrews, number 8, makes the tackle on Tashard Choice.
When we talked to the Georgia Tech people, said they've never faced a 3-3-5 unit like this defense, the odd stack, and you could see it already. It gave them a couple problems.
Now here is one of the outstanding punters in the country, a finalist for the Ray Guy Award. And Ray Guy, one of his mentors, along with former NFL punter Chris Moore, who played at Auburn, Durant Brooks, and the deep man is Vaughn Rivers. Brooks for the season averaging 45-5.
Wow, beautiful.
Rivers lets it go, and it goes into the end zone, touchback. So a 60-yard punt, net of 40, and the Mountaineers will take the field. We'll have our first look to see how effective the All-American Steve Slayton can be playing with this deep thigh bruise.
The ring gear on many half-tons out there is this big. The one you want is this big. How you like them apples?
11:55 to go first quarter. Let's check this Mountaineer offense, and it is one of the more effective offenses in the country, fueled by Patrick White, the sophomore quarterback from Daphne, Alabama. He's joined up front by Stanchek, his Danner, the All-American Dan Moses, his buddy Jerome Sheffy, and Raynaud pulled a groin in practice. We'll keep our eye on him. Slayton, Owen Schmidt, and Rashawn Bolden. And Slayton is in the starting backfield. Flanked on either side by Schmidt. And then White in the middle. Give it to the fullback. Pretty good play. Look at this guy rumble. Owen Schmidt. How about that? 52 yards, Gary.
Almost have to chuckle because we meet with John Tenuta, the defensive coordinator from Georgia Tech, and he goes, you know, when they got the two backs in the backfield, they're always going to fake it to the fullback or run the fullback right there. We know what they're going to do, and then they're going to go option or sweep that way. So what do? Exactly what the coach says, and they busted in there for 50 yards. You got to want to pull your hair out if you're a coach sometime.
Previous longest gain this year was 18. That for 52. Owen Schmidt. On first down, Patrick White keeps it, comes left. Oh, we have seen them do this so often this year. First and goal, West Virginia. Patrick White for 27.
I wonder if Georgia Tech saw the Sugar Bowl against Georgia last year, because this is eerily similar. Now it's just the zone read. If they crash the end in, and you saw the end crash in, Adam Oliver, number 42, Patrick White's, he doesn't have a thigh booze, does he? And he just crashes it in there 2 plays down to the 1.5-yard line.
He does have a high ankle sprain that caused him to miss the Rutgers game, but that is healed. I don't think it's a problem. Now he's got the 2 fullbacks, Schmidt and Maxwell Anderson in the backfield. It'll be Schmidt who gets the dessert. No signal of a touchdown yet. He did not get the cherry on the top. Down at the 1-foot line. Owen Schmidt.
Well, he's got 2 more scoops to go, though, to find that cherry in this one. Rich Rodriguez, the architect of this spread. The power comes from Owen Schmidt. Well, that was pretty close.
Sure was.
The ball has to break the plane, remember.
Owen Schmidt began his career at Wisconsin River Falls, Division III. Was there 1 year, walked on at West Virginia. Gets the handoff this time, no problemo.
Yeah. He found the cherry under the second scoop of ice cream.
Oh, that was fairly quick.
Sure was. You called that offensive line, you know, you give all that credit to those running backs and quarterback, and obviously they should get it, but that offensive line right there did a job. A fullback plunge and then a power into the end zone. Wow, what a lot of space eaten up in that rushing attack.
Pat McAfee perfect for the year. That's 58 of 58 point after tries. Owen Schmidt picked up 52 on his first carry, picked up a foot on his second. It all adds up to a 7-0 lead. We're back in Jacksonville. It's time for the playbook presented by the Hartford.
Now, all week, Coach has been telling Georgia Tech that they run the veer out of this. Here's Slayton over here. Now, watch Michael Hall, the middle linebacker. He's saying, I'm thinking it's outside. It's outside. I'm going to get out all that speed. Overruns the play, and there goes the fullback right up the gut. You think that speed outside? You run the fullback inside, and the playbook sometimes is very simple. Just do what the other team doesn't think you're going to do, and it works.
52-yard effort for Owen Schmidt. Had 2 of the carries. Patrick White wedged in between. Actually, he had 3 of the 4. And Pat McAfee will kick off for the second time. Jamal Evans, number 20, is the deep back for Georgia Tech.